Now, I know we're not supposed to say anything bad about the great and powerful Alex Pereira, but based on what I'm seeing, it looks like Alex Pereira is ducking Magomed Ankalaev, and the UFC is definitely helping him do it.
Getting real tired of you ducking me, man. Yeah?
Oh my God.
Yeah. Getting really tired.
Now, ducking is normally viewed as a negative term, and I can understand why, but you can view it a different way. Let's just humor me for a second. Let's walk through this. Check this out. We got lower the head or body quickly to avoid a blow. Yeah, I mean, that's valid in fighting, sure. Depart quickly doesn't really fit right now. Avoid, okay, maybe. Evade or avoid, okay, pin that. Plunge one's head or body underwater, okay, that doesn't apply. We ain't talking about no damn water right now. Refrain from playing a winning card on a particular trick for tactical reasons. I think we nailed it. Refrain from playing for tactical reasons. That's it. So people like to make the term ducking synonymous with scared, and I assure you that these are two totally separate things. Ducking is something that I used to do to bill collectors when I was in college.
You don't have to raise your voice.
You pay you!
I can give you half.
You pay! No, bitch!
It wasn't because I didn't have the money. It's because I didn't want to give it to them. Now, I wasn't scared of talking to them or interacting with them. I just wasn't ready at that point in time. Here's another example. Imagine you're playing UFC 5, and this is for my PS5 or Xbox players. During career mode, you have the option to pick who your opponent is based on who the UFC lines up for you, along with your ranking in the division at that point in time. And they normally give you a couple of options. If there's a character that played to my strengths a little bit better at that time, I would fight them while developing my deficiencies to be more well-rounded later on. I knew I was going to have to face that fighter later on, but it was an easier path for me to fight the person that I was more equipped to fight at that time. Was I ducking them? Sure. I guess you could term it that, but I was really playing to my own strengths. I would rather win and learn than lose and learn. Scared is something totally different.
You were scared, huh? Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
I don't see a lot of inappropriate fear in the UFC. Yeah, fighters are scared before they fight. They're supposed to be. Fear heightens your senses and your awareness. It actually makes you more reactive. And fear, in most cases, isn't about their opponent. It's about them not realizing their potential on the night in question.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not nervous, then you're not going to last very long in the sport, because like when you get nervous and scared, that's usually when you have like your best performances, because like, you know, you're scared for a reason, and then you get nervous because you want to perform the right way, and it's not really about that person, because I've never once looked across the octagon and been like scared of somebody.
I'm more deserving because I have 10 victories in a row. I put everybody away. It doesn't matter for me who's here or who thinks that they're more deserving. It doesn't matter to me who's going to be the title holder. What I know is I'm putting people away, and I'm the next person in line. Dana, please give me the title shot. I deserve it more than anybody else.
But what has Ankalaev done to deserve a title shot? Well, title shots are also relative. And the sooner you understand that, the quicker you understand the UFC's decision when it comes to making title fights. Title fights, or the reason for title fights, can really be broken down to three different pillars. So you have the deserve factor, the people's champ factor, and the timing factor. So the deserve factor, fighters earn their shot based on rankings, winning streaks, and strong performances. The UFC typically prioritizes contenders who have climbed the ranks and proven themselves worthy of a title fight. That's the one that purists seem to lean on the most. The people's champ factor. That is where marketability and fan demand play a huge role. And popular fighters, exciting matchups, and social media buzz can influence the decisions, even if the contender isn't the top ranked contender at that point in time. And last is the timing factor. Logistics. They also play a major part in determining whether a person gets a title shot. So that's going to include the fighter's availability, injuries, the event scheduling. All those things play a part in the timing part of it to determine whether a fighter has a leg up in getting a title fight. Now, in most cases, the fighters don't have all three of those. Talk about Dustin Poirier when he got his title shot against Islam Makhachev. He had two of those three factors. He had the timing factor, which was what I said was one of the major points that kind of pushed him over. There were no valid contenders at that point in time that people would say met the deserve factor. But Poirier is a big name. He brings a lot of eyeballs. So he's got the 2 and he's got the 3. Doesn't have the 1. That's why people were complaining. Now, if we talk about what's going on right now with Khalil Rountree Jr., he has the timing factor. He only has the timing factor. Now, as much as I love Khalil Rountree Jr., and I actually did kind of predict that this was going to happen, Magomed Ankalaev is more deserving. So he would have the deserve factor, and the timing factor is what he messed up on his own. Now, what I want you to understand is that the UFC is not a league. And so this is why the deserve factor isn't weighed as heavy as the other two factors. They're all pretty much even. The UFC is not a league, it's a promotion, meaning the business is prioritized over fairness and competition. There's storylines over structure, revenue over rankings. Now, what does this have to do with Magomed Ankalaev? Ankalaev only meets one of these factors right now, the deserve factor. And in order to build this into something monetarily worthwhile, the UFC is betting on waiting. Ankalaev is doing his part, whether intentionally or unintentionally, by taking to social media to speak down on the title shot going to Khalil Rountree Jr. and talk about Alex refusing to fight him. Meanwhile, Alex is calling out Dricus du Plessis to fight for a belt he already had. Now, imagine if a champion fought a guy at a lower weight class. Would y'all give him credit for it? Or would y'all, say, well, the person that you beat was from a lower weight class. I don't know, if that really counts towards a real, true title defense.
When you realize Islam Makhachev only has 2 title defenses and they are both against the featherweight. I've been saying this for the longest time, ever since Islam Makhachev expressed interest in moving up to 170 pounds. He needs to defend his title against people in his division.
Him avoiding the fight does sound eerily similar to another situation.
There he is. We've got him. John!
Try your eyes, mate. I know it's hard to take, but her mind has been made up.
I'm not saying it's the same song, but it's definitely in the same key. So the UFC is backing the ducking because of the cost benefit. And frankly, they aren't too keen on having Ankalaev as champion after the sour taste that he's left in their mouth from the Jan Blachowicz debacle at UFC 282. And you really can't blame them. All I'm saying is that there's ducking going on, even if it's understandable and mutually beneficial. But if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably Alex Pereira. Until next time.
John? Hello, John?